Oh hey guys, and welcome to my January wrap-up. I had a slow reading month as I actually read only 4 books, but I actually really enjoyed everything that I read. Let's just get straight to it. The first book I read this year, and the first book that I actually gave 5 stars to this year, is In the Shadow of Blackbirds by Kat Winters. Now this is a YA novel that is set during the war and a time when the Spanish flu is wreaking havoc, and it mainly deals with this idea of spirit photography. Our young female protagonist, because of course this is YA, travels to a small town to live with her aunt. When she gets there, she finds someone who she believes is profiteering from people's grief about the war by saying he will take their picture with the loved ones who have died. Overall, I found this a really interesting read. I found it very different to a lot of YA that's out there at the moment. I liked the main character, I liked that she was smart, and they make a point to say that she was a genius before she came to this town, so it really makes sense that she's comes across a lot maturer than her age would probably suggest. The whole idea of spirit photography is definitely interesting and a different angle for YA. I don't say this very often, but I actually enjoyed the romance in this one. In this, her special boy is sent away to the war, and she doesn't actually know whether he's still alive or not. So she's torn between this idea of proving that this spirit photographer is fake, also wondering if he could take a picture with her boyfriend who may possibly have died. Overall, like I said, I gave this 5 stars, and I highly recommend this one. This is actually one of the best YA books that I have ever read. The second book that I read in January is The Harrowing by Alexandra Sokolov. This is kind of a horror thriller read, and the title basically at the top says Scream meets The Exorcist, and that is pretty much an apt description of this book. But make both those movies PG-13 and this is what you get. Overall, this was a fun read. It deals with 5 students who stay at university over the holidays and eventually succumb to playing with a Ouija board. Obviously the spirits do not like this, and then some spooky happenings start to appear. Overall, this was a light, fun read. Definitely not a hardcore horror novel, but it was an enjoyable read and it was fun. And in the end, I gave it 3 stars. Read in January, I have ironically replaced because it is Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. Literally just spent about a minute looking through my bookshelf saying, where'd you go, Bernadette? Where'd you go? But I can't find it. I'll put in a little picture of the cover maybe, but this is a contemporary mystery novel narrated by the daughter of the said Bernadette as she's trying to find her mother after she's gone missing and putting all the clues into place. Overall, this was a really fun read and it was a very tight mystery, and it also added bits of humour and quirkiness to it. The whole book is actually told in the form of correspondence. There's very little normal narrative for you to read, it is all letters, and that's a writing style I've actually really enjoyed in the past. Maria Semple also wrote a few episodes of Arrested Development, so if anybody liked that show, I'd highly suggest picking this book up. In the end, I gave Where'd You Go, Bernadette 4 stars out of 5. The next book that I read in January was Hit List by Laurel K. Hamilton. This is the 20th in the Anita Blake series, I think. Something stupid along those lines. I'm not going to go into this story since it is a sequel. Whoever reads these know that these are pretty much separated between the good ones and the bad ones, and I'd say this is a bad one, which is a shame because I've actually enjoyed the last couple a bit more, so hopefully the next one gets back on track. In the end, I gave this one 2 stars. Then the last book that I read is Hollow City by Ransom Riggs. My order was delayed, but it finally arrived, and I pretty much read it in 2 days. As I was working, I had my issues with the first Miss Peregrine, but overall I found it to be a really fun and just original tale, and that's pretty much why I enjoyed the second. The pictures are spooky, the setting was quite creepy this time. It takes place in London during the war, which seems to be a theme this month. The characters are more fleshed out. While a fun read, sometimes I did find the novel a little bit directionless. Like the first one, certain parts of this book seem to be focused more on showing you the pictures instead of connecting them to the plot, but I wouldn't say it takes anything away from the novel. Overall, I'd say if you enjoyed the first one, you will no doubt like this one, but I don't think it brings anything new to the table or changes anything to the point where if you didn't enjoy the first one, you would like this one. I was really excited for this and I really enjoyed it. In the end, I gave Hollow City 4 stars. So that has been my January wrap-up. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and I shall see you soon with another one. Goodbye. Then the last completed series I have to show you is the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead with these god-awful, ugly covers.